going to be a lot of unrated stuff in this episode. Oh, yeah. Wait a minute. We're live. We can't talk shit.
Oh, yeah. Are we? Because I'm toasted. Like, I look like I've been smoking stuff that I've never smoked in my life.
Bullshit.
P-test, here we come. I mean, what?
I see the bull behind you. Anyway, welcome to another episode of Sawdust Nation Podcast. With your...
How dare you? He's lying.
I'm going to have to start this over.
It's okay. The patrons get a funny laugh at the gate.
Radio voice time. Welcome to another episode of Sawdust Nation Podcast with your host, Nap from Nap's Naughty Works LLC. Yes, I was going to have you introduce yourself.
My name? Jesus. Oh, yeah, it's me, Nap from Nap's Naughty Works LLC. Yeah. Whatever. Listen, I'm not here, dude. I'm just...
Take 4. So if you didn't know, because you guys won't, when we first started recording, Nap disappeared. It was just my bald head and me staring at myself, which is kind of awkward. So we're going to start off here with welcome to another episode of Sawdust Nation Podcast with your hosts, Nap from Nap's Naughty Works LLC, myself, Josh from North Country Woodworking, Nap scratching his balls, and we're going to dive into... a kind of unique episode. So Nap and I both have been extremely busy and kind of, for me personally, haven't really been in the shop.
So tired.
We are pretty tired, and there is something that came up recently, at least in conversation for myself, that I think is kind of important that we talk to, and we haven't really talked to it. We've talked about it. We've done little snippets of conversation about it, but we're going to talk about trolls. We're going to talk about scams, fishing, and that's the kind of fishing that we like doing on the weekends. Talk about basically how it is that it is to what it's like to operate what it's like to operate a business at the small scale and at large scale, especially operating through Facebook marketing, Instagram, and even the websites that we have. Today's technology has made it increasingly hard on the consumer to know what's real and what's not. And that means it's increasingly hard on us to prove that we are real and that we're legitimate and we're trying to help our clients. So I'm going to toss it out to Nap to see if he has anything to throw out there as far as experiences or, interactions with clients. And then we're just going to let this flow and see where it takes us.
I don't know how much flowing we're going to do other than I'm going to flow deep into the rivers of sleep.
This is not helping the argument from the other takes.
No, not at all. Like, dude, I don't know if you see the bags under my eyes. There's something serious right now. But let's see here. I think Instagram is where I get a lot of my spam, if you will. I love my email spam. Like, I don't know what it is about the email, but like the minute you put your email into something that's not like pharmaceutical related or anything, you for some reason get pharmaceutical messages like grow your libido in 3 days. Like, what?
Do we need to talk about this, Snap? Is this something that needs to be?
No, but that's the problem, yes, right? I'm like, I think you're hitting the wrong target audience there, spammers. Or I get calls from like random phone numbers from home, but they're not actual phone numbers from home. They just use like the 248, because that's my area code on my cell phone. Robo dialers use that. I like to mess with them. They're pretty fun. Like, oh, hello, we call you about your house extended warranty and your blah, 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 blah. And you're just like, oh, yeah? Tell me more. And you mess with them. You kind of just like get them going. They're like, oh, yeah, totally. What do I need to do for that? And they'll keep going a little bit. And they're like, well, if you give us your social security number and this, that, and the other. And I'm like, oh, yeah, it's this, that, and the other. And then sometimes I'll hit them with the 8765309 and they copy it down, or hit them with a bunch of 110, 9, 10, 11, 12. And they're like, oh, yeah, now give me your credit card number. And I go through this whole thing. And I was like, you're really dumb. and then I just hang up the phone. So I've done that to a couple of scammers on there. But then IG, I think me more relevant to our listeners. Those are some ha-ha moments I've had. But IG, like pushing followers, or buying followers, rather. making emblems and logos and stuff. Like, I know there's a lot of people out there that make logos and it's cool and everything. But then, you see like, yeah, I want to make you this sick logo after they follow and like you, try to make it seem like they're like a real person. I've never gone after those, like, people that make the logos just because, well, I can kind of make my own. And now that I kind of know what they use, that's not worth it. Like, they're literally trying to rip you off. They'll use Canva or something, take your logo, do some craziness real quick and call it a day. It took me 5 minutes to make my logo with Canva, and that was it. And then there's like the push your followers. Like, I got one the other day. It was like, for 500 followers, pay me $300, this, that, and I'm like, no, like, what are you talking about right now? Like, first of all, I'm not even pushing my social media that heavy, which, by the way, if you haven't noticed, I haven't posted jack since like God knows when. I have other reasons for why I'm not posting my stuff. More or less just trying to, I don't know, keep certain things for me, because certain things I do, the way I design things, I like to kind of keep it for me, unless someone specifically asks me how I do certain things. I don't know, trade secrets and apps, Naughty Works, maybe. I don't know. And also, I don't like seeing a replica of my stuff put up like 2 days later. So there's that. Let's see, what else? I've got a lot of sexual scammers, like a lot of the, hey, baby, come to my page. And you're just like, delete, block, then delete, and then find your other account, block, and delete some more. Because first of all, I have a Hispanic wife. And all you listeners out there that either a Hispanic woman yourself, or married to any men or women married to an Hispanic woman, no, they find crap like that in your social media, you're going to get your butt whooped. Chocolate from across the room whooped. So I just get rid of that stuff immediately. I've learned my lessons over the past few years. Oh, actually, now that I think about it, it's been a decade. It'll actually be 10 years this year. It's crazy. Yeah, that's crazy. It's been 10 years in December, which is funny because that's when my child is due, December 19th. Baby coming out no matter what.
Keep all those important dates
5 days later
together. It makes it much easier.
Oh yeah, anniversary is the 24th. Christmas is the 25th. My second son will be born on the 19th. Zane is on Labor Day, September 4th. It's easy, so easy to remember. It's so great.
You'll never forget because this is out there.
Yeah, but the funny thing is Sarah forgot when we met and stuff. I was like, man, you suck.
Put it on a calendar. I put all my important stuff on the
calendar. But scammer wise, like that's like where I get a lot of the scam, or like the scam or spam or junk or any of that kind of stuff. Now, as far as like going and dealing with customers, so customers is a weird one because you don't really ever know if it's a scam because some people take forever to respond. Okay. Some people sometimes when they're like just agreeing to prices real quick, it's like almost sometimes too good to be true. Sometimes you want like that back and forth, like, oh, well, actually I only have this much to spend. That way you kind of know that you're actually dealing with someone that's actually meaning to buy something. I've never really had someone scam me for a product ever. If it's out of state, they're paying me first. I've learned that over the past. Not that I've been scammed, but it took a minute to get paid, and that was annoying.
Do you remember a little while ago, last year, I think it was, when there was a scammer reaching out to woodworkers asking about a bookshelf?
No, actually, I
don't. Do you remember that one? We talked about it on the podcast. It could have been a little bit longer.
We might have. Was I sleeping?
You might have been. That might have been taking a nap. But to jog your memory, essentially, they would reach out. They would be like, hey, I want to build a bookcase. I forget what type of wood. They would have like dimensions and everything else like that. And then you start talking to them and they're like, well, I want more expensive wood and, I want, this, that, and the other thing. And you're like, oh, okay, cool. And then they're like, well, if I pay you this much, I need you to take the remainder and give it to me in gift cards or, give me the rest after I deposit it.
Oh, yeah.
I forget exactly what the deal was. But like as soon as
it wasn't even creative.
No, it wasn't. I mean, it was creative enough to, before it started going mainstream and they were hitting almost everybody, a few people bought into it enough to, start giving them prices and whatnot. But I mean, like stuff like that is just people work harder not to work than it is just to work and, make that money.
Yeah, I don't understand that.
But yeah, that was a big one that went around the community for a while. I know I got hit up, but at the time, it's already happened to enough people where people were posting about it, and it was kind of a known thing. So I thought it, spam, whatever, and got rid of it.
Yeah. Well, typically, I've seen where people's accounts get hacked or they get doubled. They start talking. I've actually seen that more frequently now, really more in the Facebook realm. But people will be like, "Oh, hey, how you doing?" And you're just like, first of all, that's not how you talk. Like even like the "Hey, how you doing?" thing, like you just know straight out like that.
You drunk?
You're not that person. Yeah. Typically it's like, "Hey, bro, what up, homie?" or whatever the case may be. And like most of my friends, that's how they talk. So like when they go, "Hey, how you doing? Just wondering what you've been up to," like.
I haven't talked
What?
to you in like 20 years.
Yes.
I forgot even
and then they try to have like
other.
Yeah, and then like you have like this long conversation, but it's not that person, and you'll sit there and you'll boast it up or whatever, and then they hit you with the, "Well, hey, I was wondering if I can get some money," and I'm like, "Yeah, you can go." I use colorful language at this point because I've already looked at my messenger, I've looked at my friends, I know which one's which, and I go, "Yeah, you're an effing this, that, and the other." You're like scum of the earth, or you're the reason why people hate doing anything on social media or anything like that. But yeah, so that's really it for the scamming stuff, though, because I like to think I'm smart enough to not fall for that stuff. Yeah, I don't know. You just know. I think if you've run into it enough, you kind of know, like, yeah, you're not real. And then sometimes you're pleasantly surprised, but 99.9% of the time, that's just fake.
So I don't really want to admit this on air, but I got scammed. Was it a year or so ago? Maybe I keep saying year or so. It might have been 2 years. Who knows? And it was a legit. I call this the bro scam. This is why.
Oh no!
So me and a neighbor, a friend of mine, at the time we were looking for like a cheap kayak or a cheap boat to go fishing and go, just get out there and go fishing basically. And we were going to go, 50-50 or whatever if we found something reasonable. And we're Facebook marketing. We're looking around, just something cheap. We don't want to spend a lot of money on something, just enough to float, get out there, away from shore. And he calls me up. He goes, "Hey man, I came across this ad on Facebook Marketplace. It goes to this website and they're having like a bankruptcy. Man, I can't speak today. They're going on a business sale or something like that. And like, there was kayaks for like $100 and stuff like that. And like, top of the line brands and fishing kayaks and all this. And I'm like, we're all pumped up about it, going back. Oh yeah, which one are you going to get? Blah, blah, blah. And, yeah. So the website legitimately looked like a real website. I went through, they had everything about it, like every link.
Yeah, most scams do.
Every link worked, like you name it. I mean, even the support, everything mirrored the real site 100%. And I think I don't know, I wasted like $50 or $100, basically trying to buy a kayak. And obviously it never came. And I gave him a lot of hell for a long time. I should have known, but we got caught up in the whole, we're going to have kayaks. We're going to go do stuff. And that's the only time I've ever been scammed. And that, I honestly would contribute that to the whole, we were just plain excited that we found a deal like that and actually get out there and do something. So in spirit of that, my sister-in-law, she actually bought and sent me a small rowboat in the mail as a prank because my wife.
Hashtag petty.
It was funny. It was all in good fun. But that leads me into a more serious topic, right? No one. How can I put this? Everyone could get scammed. I'm just going to put it this way. Everyone out there could get scammed. I'm not going to sit here and say I'm smarter and that I'm better than everyone out there because I've never been scammed. I got scammed. I've heard of people getting scammed I never thought would. Sometimes you go down a rabbit hole or you're, hyped up on excitement because of a product that you really been wanting and it just sounds, there's a great deal. What have you, right? So I guess what I'm trying to get at here with the story and this whole topic is just because you don't think it's going to happen to you, it doesn't mean it won't. It just has to be the right scam, the right time.
Yeah, actually, where I've almost been, but I've actually almost been tricked or scammed a couple times. Looking for lumber.
Yeah.
Because typically, we're in the woodworking community, we're looking for walnut, oak, cherry, at affordable prices because some prices are just absolutely just outrageous these days. But there's been a couple times where I've been like, oh yeah, that looks good. Like, what's $5 a board foot for walnut? What the? There's no. And then you look at it, it's a bunch of good pictures, this, that, and the other. Then you start talking to the person, and you're like, oh man, this don't seem right. And then you ask them for the details, and they start giving you the details, and you're like, oh, that's what it is. So like, it's not even really like a scam as more as it is a play on words. Absolutely. They use it like, oh yeah, you're getting this, but really you're getting that over there in the corner. So that's probably closest I've actually been though for that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, like Facebook Marketplace is I've bought a lot of different stuff on there. I mean, like I would say a good majority of my tools, and you got to be cautious selling or buying anytime you're on there. I've already kind of hit on the lumber thing, but there's tools and toolboxes. People have ads for they buy in bulk or they have a really good price. And it's kind of the same thing where you message and it just sounds shady.
Todd put something in the chat here about a friend of his bought a new DeWalt planer for $100 from Facebook and was upset when it says spoke shave turned up. I actually don't know what that is.
And play on words too. I know there's been a couple scams. I can't think of the actual like product or exact details of it, where it was like you buy it and it's like a miniature or like something like that, where like it's a spoke shave turns up instead of the planer. Oh, they'll give you a product, but it's not the real product that you wanted.
A spoke shave is no BS. It's like a planer, but it's like a little. It's like two handles with thing. You pull it towards you. You push away, and it like shaves like little curls of wood off. Yo, I would be so mad.
Especially you think you got a good deal like that, you're gonna brag about that. But going back,
that's so petty. Like, oh yeah, you're gonna get a new planer, and then you get a little hand pull. You're like. Oh.
Or a strip planer where it doesn't actually work. It's a planer.
Yeah.
So anyway, getting back to Facebook Marketplace, we'll wrap that up real quick. I've bought things and sold things on Facebook Marketplace where I honestly, I wasn't sure what was going to happen. Waiting for a scam to happen. A lot of times if you sold or sell to a older client, they won't have a lot of stuff on their Facebook, or they might even have a picture. They might be on there just buying tools or whatnot. And I ran into that here. I don't know the area. I don't know the people really around here. And I sold my drill press and the guy was like, yeah, I'll meet you here, whatnot. He's interacting just fine. He's going to pay me cash. And like, wife's like, I don't know. I'm like, I don't know either, but we're going to show up. I got the tool. You ain't going to get it from me. So I show up, and he's like, oh, I'm running late. I'm like, God, okay, maybe she's right. You know what I'm saying? Running late, he ran late. Finally shows up, nice guy, trying to build his shop up, looking for cheaper tools, to do so. He goes, I really don't do social media because he saw the logo on the truck. We talked a bit, kind of pointed him to the podcast more so than our page and whatnot. And, great experience. And me, typically, when I run into something like that, I try to give them a rating. I try to leave a comment because I want other people, if he, decides to purchase something or not think he's a scam. I try to help them out because they're just not social media people. You know what I'm saying? Then I understand that completely. But some things I look for when I'm looking at a scam. Is it too good to be true? That's when things get dicey. When something's too good to be true, it probably is. As much as we like looking for deals and stuff like that, it is definitely a chance we're taking when you start going down that rabbit hole. Even with the Glowforge, when I bought that, I was not entirely sure. I was going to pay cash. I wanted to see it. I wanted to see it work. I wanted to see everything. But something that also helps is you pull into the neighborhood, you see the kind of houses and stuff that's around there. You know, they're offering to plug it in. They want you to see it. Like, they're like, please, you know, they're really excited about you buying it. You know, they help you bring it to your truck or car or whatever. I mean, like, you could tell, you know, you try to read people for the most part. You know, I like to say I'm pretty good at that myself, but there has been times, like I said before, where I show up and, you know, the guy just shows up out of nowhere. He's like, yeah. And then I sold a miter saw that was a DeWalt, and like the guy was doing construction. But he seemingly showed up out of nowhere and knocked out my window because I gave him the description of my car. And I'm like, oh, great. I get out and like he walks over to, he goes, just follow me. And I have the tool and I'm like, God, okay, what's going to happen here? He walks over to his van that was parked a little bit a ways, you know, kind of out of sight. And I'm like, okay, yep. I'm going to throw the tool at him. This is going to happen. No, he opens it up, has all this construction stuff in there. He does construction on the side, you know what I'm saying, or for another contractor, whatever. His broke. He needed a new one. Safe. You know what I'm saying? He didn't offer me a candy bar at that time, so everything was good. But yeah, I mean, you just gotta be careful with all that stuff. You know, we do advertise a lot about Facebook Marketplace and stuff like that. Just, you know, keep aware. You know what I'm saying? I hear more and more stories about the $100. If something's $100 and usually $800, don't fall for that. That's not real. $100 seems to be that mark when it comes to all that. So
the only time where I've seen that hasn't applied is if like, and this is very rare case, is when, you know, like the significant other has passed away and they just want to get rid of stuff.
Yeah, or divorce.
That's like the only time I've seen where it's like, oh yeah, this, you know, I'm not gonna say DeWalt planer because I'd be picking on Todd's friend, but like a bandsaw or a table saw, you know, like it's times like that.
Yeah.
When I got my saw stop, you know, my saw stop was 4K. All right, that it was even 4K, and I was like, that seems odd. Like, I don't know, like, because, you know, I've seen how much the saw stop goes for and with the model that it was. I was like, that's weird. And then I get there and the guy's like, yeah, no, I'm just trying to sell it just because of, you know, divorce and, you know, I don't want the, you know, the ex to have it or what. I don't really care what the reason was. It was 4K, got all the things, saw was in perfectly good shape. And I was like, sure. All right, cool. And that was that marketplace deal that Nick actually helped me find a while back. That was a little sketchy at first because, like, man, this guy's kind of making me feel weird.
Yeah, it definitely helps showing up in force with friends and whatnot. When something's fishy like that, having that kind of backup with you definitely helps. I know, Stan, I'm going to tell your story on here. Stop me if you don't want me to. But Stan from the lost state of Franklin Woodworks, when I was in Texas, he asked me to look into I think it was a Facebook Marketplace post, or I forget what site he found it on. Lasers Are Us or something like that. I don't know. But he bought a laser, long story short, and he wanted me to go along with him and basically check it out, make sure it was legit and whatnot, and like help him get it in the truck. Because, you know, Mom took lasers, 60, 80, 100. They're pretty big lasers. Anyway, so we drove down, saw the neighborhood immediately. I'm like, okay, we're doing good so far. Yeah. And then we got in the neighborhood. Guy was, you know, waiting for us, you know, door open, had the laser, you know, plugged in, or you didn't have it plugged in, but we could plug it in very easily. We plugged it in, made sure it worked. Everything was going. We didn't, I don't remember if we tried to burn anything when I was there or not. But like I could do once over, I've had my laser long enough and helped enough people where I would like to say that I have a good opinion when it comes to how a laser should look and operate. So I looked it over. The guy was like, bought it during COVID. Thought it'd be pretty cool. It was cool, but it sits here and I don't want to do it no more. I'd rather have the money. And I'm like, perfect. How many hours do you have on there? And he said some number that was really low. And I'm like, I look at Stan, I'm like, get in the truck. Get in. So, with his help and, we got in the truck and, it was all good to go. We all talked. Guy who still wants to make stuff. He talked about getting a smaller laser or maybe a 3D printer and still making or wanting to make, but it just took too much space in his garage. So I see laser and CNC postings all the time at Facebook Marketplace. And it's just one of those things where it's like, if it's close to the original price and maybe a couple thousand off or a couple hundred off, it's probably legit. Like most likely they're going to be, people you can work with. I did have kind of throwback a little bit. Do you remember when I had that client ask me if I was legit?
Yeah, you're like, how dare you?
Like, how do you bounce back from that? Like,
really?
Yeah, like, are you a legit company?
Well, you see, funny thing is the LLC preceding my name says I'm an established business.
There's more to it. They actually, they knew my wife too, which was weird why they would ask that, but whatever. We'll dial this in and kind of talk about the scamming thing. So in some ways, I can't blame her. With the way technology is and the way that people can recreate stuff, like you go on the Facebook Marketplace and, people offering products and whatnot. And then they're like, oh, yeah, I want it up front. You won't get it for the next year. And, it's basically a table I found and I'm just, trying to age it and you can have it when I'm done. Yeah, things get sketchy. Easy to lose money when, it's a good deal and it's what you want and you lose the details. So, for her, I provided my Instagram, my Facebook, my LLC, my website, products and reviews, Google, my number, my address, like pretty much everything I could to ensure that she was comfortable placing an order. So I got that order and obviously I worked with her and we got her project out there. This whole conversation kind of came up, or this topic came up today at work. So I had a coworker. They're looking for a table for their house because they just got here, PCS'd in, and which is basically permanent change of station for people that don't know. And they're looking for a table, and we were talking about building them a table and different things they would like. But the wife found a aged or about to be aged or a woodworker online that had some products on Marketplace, and they were going to give a full size table for $400. But they need to age it and paint it and get it ready first. But it was already posted with pictures. And the wife and the guy were like, this don't sound right. I know a woodworker. We can order it from him. So we're in talks about their table and whatnot. But long story short, it just seems like no one's safe. And this podcast is, here to help people. It's here to inform people, give our experiences so maybe you can learn from them. It's always intended to be that for people out there listening. So, that's what it comes down to. You got to be careful. You got to use your common sense. You got to use your gut. If it doesn't check, don't do it. Or bring a friend. So if you get jumped, at least you have someone there with you. But how are some ways you ensure your customers that you're not a fake company / a scam?
So to be fair, I've honestly never ran into it. A lot of my stuff's word of mouth. I don't really do stuff through like my Instagram doesn't really draw me customers. I think it's drawn me maybe one. And I've had dudes reach out to me on Instagram, and it seemed like it was fake. And a couple of times I think it has been. Yeah, bring a gun. I actually, you joke, but when I've gone and bought tools or sold things on the marketplace, yeah, I go by, what is it that saying is stay strapped or get clapped or something like that. I think that's what the kids say these days or something. But no, I've legitimately gone anytime I've sold a tool, bought a tool, or we're going to make any kind of deal with anybody on Facebook. Yeah, you better believe I was carrying, because unfortunately in today's world, I don't trust nobody except for my family and closest friends. So, but yeah, anyways, so as far as like customers are concerned, a lot of my stuff's word of mouth. A lot of my stuff is recommended by other people. Very rarely have I ever gotten somebody that's just asked me out of the blue. Like, actually, speaking of today, I had someone ask me for a shadow box. Like, it's kind of cool. Shadow boxes are picking up for your boy, and I like it because I can do those. And I mean, okay, shadow boxes, yes, but the 57 plaque order I have due on the 13th of October, that's another story. Whew, that's gonna suck.
Yes, it is.
But the things we do for money, especially when you're trying to pay off the initial expenses of the shop when you got here. But it's all made of oak, and it won't be too terrible. But I've been picking up a lot more shadow box orders, and things have been getting better. But I've had a couple people reach out. Like, actually, hold on, I'm going to grab my phone. I'm hoping the other phone is still live, because I have a particular one in mind right now that's been doing like the super delayed responding. So hang on a second. Let's see. Is that over here? It is. Oh yeah, we got 51%. Let's get into this. All right, so let's see. So on my business phone, I had a person reach out, and we're going to call this the bro, if you will. So, hey brother, was looking at some shadow ideas for retirement and came across your work. Do you take orders? I said I do. And then I was a little late to this response. So I was 3 days late because I was doing stuff, and I just didn't get to my phone. Dude goes, I was like, sorry, I was a little late getting back to you. Things I would need to know what style, time frame, and material. Well, they hit me with a date, when the retirement was, and all the things, and it was the Hap Arnold shadow box that I had made. But it was a picture of one that someone else had sent to me to replicate in the past. I was like, all right, cool. So I told him, I was like, yeah, it's like $500, and I give it to you by mid-November. That was September 5th. It is now September 19th. I'll probably reach out tomorrow to see if this person still wants that, if they're actually a real person. And if they're not, well, I'll probably get no response. But cool. Luckily, I've got people backfilling those fake or delayed order responses. I did send a shadow box out yesterday. The wife was gracious enough to take it to the mail. Yeah, I don't know. I've been picking up a lot of orders lately, and now it's like I feel like I have to get the shop. But no scams, no real hard chargers for the pay me in gift cards. You know what I mean? Let's see. Small baseball bat. Hey, listen, baseball bat hurts too. I'm just saying. It's called a nightstick. And of course, Josh has this small baseball bat that he turned when he was in Texas.
Yeah, I don't know where it is. Somewhere around here.
But no, yeah, Josh, honestly, man, I haven't had a lot of people question whether I was real or not. I've had a lot of people sit there and tell me, oh, your prices are too high. And I'm like, yeah.
No.
Well, let me tell you what goes into what you're getting.
They're not. In fact, they're probably too low for the stuff we do. I haven't either. I've only had that one. But, it kind of led me to a train of thought of like, how do I ensure my customers that I am real? Well, let's see. Our social media is a good start. Our face is all over there. We have a podcast with our names associated with it. Our face is on that as well. We put ourselves out there. It's not something that we've, stood behind our name and just posted, pictures of finished products. I get on there. We do stories. Well, I don't do stories like I used to, but get on there once in a while. We do stories. We know people. They know us. They can speak to our products. Word of mouth, especially, that's how we kind of run both our businesses. In Jersey, I was picking up a little bit more online presence when it came to some orders. I got to get that back going again. Rebuilding all that trust and that kind of branding is difficult, especially when you're trying to learn a completely new job. And I want to take a break from talking about spam and stuff and tell you guys a kind of a funny story that happened today that took me aback. So if you don't know, I went from basically working 12 something years or more than that with aircraft and maintaining them and flying on them. And now I don't do anything with aircraft at all. So typically when I was moving job to job before, I could take some experience with me because, same lingo, same kind of idea how things work, mechanical, electric stuff, whatever. Well, it's a totally different field I'm in now. It's I consider the people that do this kind of job have done all the stupid stuff, and now they can look for the stupid stuff. So I'm occupational safety. I deal a lot with OSHA regulations and ANSI and a whole bunch of other Air Force regulations that kind of quantify those. And I do a lot of inspections on facilities and programs and stuff like this. So brief overview, right? So I went into the Child Development Center, or the CDC, not the one you're probably thinking of when I say that. These have little minions running around and bigger minions running after them while everyone else is working, doing the military job. And I checked the first aid kit. Let's get right to it, right? So when you get into that's ready. When you get into first aid kits, what do you expect to see? Especially in a child development center or a daycare.
Band-Aids, antiseptic.
Yes, right. So we're just doing, a sampling of what they have because we want to make sure that they don't have outdated, ointment that, 20 years ago that obviously shouldn't be applied to a toddler or what have you. And we came across holy water at every single one we checked.
So hold on. So they hit them with a back to hell, you demon! Is that what they're going for here? Because that's not why holy water. Are we fighting vampires? Are we trying to combat, doing exorcisms while in the CDC? I mean, listen, I know kids are small little demons, but seriously, are we really doing that here?
I don't know. It was just one of those things that took you back. We kind of looked at each other. And to be fair, all the CDC, I don't know what the proper name for them would be, but the people that work there were already busy enough with kids running around, and we're actually causing more of a scene because they want to know what we're doing. And we didn't ask because it wasn't affecting our inspection, and we wanted to ensure we weren't affecting the kids in their day because as is us walking into that room, they're going to have a million questions, which they had a million questions for the older ones.
Hold on real quick in the chat. Hold on. Two things. One, inline fan, random question, insert laser answer here. Inline fan, just install it, put a piece of hose off the back of your laser, inline fan, then hose out the door. It helps pull the exhaust more. And then Heather, are you serious?
She used to work at the CDC.
Really? But she just said, you said she worked there?
Employees, caretakers. Employees just sounds not right.
But she says that's normal, Josh.
Explain to me, okay.
Holy water's
Heather,
normal.
Please, in the chat, explain to me why you need freaking holy water at a daycare.
She said, I never told you. Is she a part of the CDC cult? What is happening here?
To be fair, I told her this, and I'm probably going to get crap for saying it on the podcast. I was literally looking around, and I'm like, these are my wife's people. Same bubbly personality, loves kids, and I'm like, yeah, she needs to go back to work here. Anyway, long story short, we're all over the place for tonight's episode, and I don't know whether to apologize to say you're welcome. But we've talked about spam. We've talked about, staying out of that, experiences that we have, ways that you can prevent it. One way to prevent it is basically go off the grid. And if you don't have phones or internet, you'll never experience it. But yeah, a little bit of work experience
I
in
can
there.
lie to you.
But
being off the grid, dude, I'm telling you right now,
weird
I've
as
been
the
off the grid.
older you get, the more you want to?
No, actually, I'm not gonna lie to you. I've had very little contact with the outside world, other than maybe some video gaming and my shop and home. And like, I feel bad because like I know Jason, he's had questions for me, and I've gotten busy doing whatever I'm doing in the shop, and then I help where I can. So yeah, real quick, I just want to take a moment for a second here. Yes, I've been MIA. I'm fine, everybody. I'm good. Because I've had Josh ask me if I was good. I was like, yeah, man, I'm good. I'm just doing my thing, I just been busy, guys. I'm tired. I wake up every morning, go to the gym. I'm taking care of one demon who wakes me up at 2 a.m, knocking on my door.
You can't call your
lock my
kids
door now.
demons.
I sure as hell can, because he's the spawn of me. Okay, because I was probably like that when I was a kid. But he knocks on my door at 2:30 in the morning to come try to lay with us, and Sarah wakes up. God bless her heart, being pregnant, and she still wakes up. She probably hardly sleeps anyways. And just I don't know, I've been off, and then I started a new job. It's been a pain. I'm actually doing physical labor at work again, which is not a bad thing. I asked for it. I wanted it. And he laughs, but master sergeants or people at my rank, we don't typically do physical labor type work.
Peasants.
Yeah, but it's because we've already all been there. We've done the airman thing. We've done the young junior NCO thing. We've done the older tech sergeant thing where we've led shifts and this, that, and the other. Now we just supervise people, do the back office work and all the admin BS that you never knew even happened. But I took an opportunity to do some physical labor and learn, I would say, an area of the job that most master sergeants won't understand if they've never been a part of the aircraft. And I do it so I can better take care of my people later when I go to the flight line. But in that takes energy, time, a lot of time away from folks in the community that I like to help and whatnot. So yeah, again, I apologize to all you folks out there. I've been busy. I'm tired. And to be frank, it's not that I don't want to talk to you. I just want to do nothing sometimes. And it's been like that. Now, mind you, I'm still knocking jobs out, but at a very slow pace. These 57 plaques are going to kill me. Emotionally, of course. But yeah. So yeah, my bad, guys. I know you guys have been trying to talk. Hell, I didn't even respond to Instagram for a while. Like, on the maker chat that we talk in, like, I haven't said nothing. It's not nothing against y'all.
I think it is.
I don't feel like talking. Yeah, totally. You stink. And your bald head, just can't deal with it. No, I don't know, man. It's been kind of just me, my family, and just us doing stuff.
It's kind of been a life-changing thing the last couple of years not last couple, at least for you, the last year for me. Things have changed in such a drastic way of how we used to do things. It takes a minute to get used to. And that kind of rolls into the shop for me. I mean, like, last weekend, my little one turned 3. So that was the big majority of
happy birthday,
my weekend. Getting, her birthday together with the wife and, spending the day. And then by the time Sunday rolled around, it's like, 11 o'clock and I don't even know where the weekend went. But I do have some plans for this weekend. I'm trying to think if we have anything. I think we do upcoming. The wife will correct me here soon, I'm pretty sure. But hopefully I can get out in there. I do have some aluminum from Victor, One Designs, and I was going to put that to use. I carried that down here with me, and I'm going to build a bench, I think, for my miter saw station. I'm kind of on the fence if I want to go ahead and do that because I want to keep that for something that matters, if that makes sense. I really don't want to start cutting into that stuff. There's tons of different projects I can utilize that for, but I might utilize it for that. We'll see. If everything kind of measures out right, I think I'm going to go down that path just to start utilizing it. And, if I don't like it, I can always take it apart later. And then I wanted to start doing some 3D carves again. I have a better understanding of how that works and how to come out with a good product. And I have to at least do it one more time to see if it's me and the settings I was using or it was my machine. Especially because I just put it back together again. I might have corrected something and I wanted to rule that out so I can start offering that. I'm kind of jealous of Nap's recent project with the buff there. I really, really like that plaque. And I would like to not steal that from him, but offer similar things to people around here or even people I know from other bases.
Yo, listen, I don't got a problem with you doing it. Just don't go freaking replicating like day 2 of me freaking doing it.
Well, I think we're
I had someone, I made something and I shit you not, I talked about doing something, I made it, I posted it, not even a day later, some shit popped up on their feed of something that exactly what I just talked about. I'm like, what?
Well, you're inspiration to those out there, man. What you say and do,
I guess,
lights the way for many.
Sure.
Be the light.
Let's see if they can replicate 3D work though. We'll see how that works out.
Rotary work.
Yeah. We'll see.
Anyway, but yeah.
Sorry, I'm not salty.
No, it's okay, man. I mean, honestly, I think this episode is kind of like a hodgepodge of just like different things. I meant to talk about the whole spamming thing the entire time, but to be honest with you, we kind of wrapped it up. I don't think we could talk to it much more just because we shared experiences and whatnot. I definitely want to get the holy water out there so you can go ahead and do your cross.
I had to do it. I wanted to do it so bad. But honestly, folks, for those of you listening out there, listen, yes, this episode is not very structured, not this time around. I told Josh, and I think he was probably still at work when I messaged him, to be honest with you. Because of our new positions, like I didn't get home till 6:30, 6:45 today, which is an hour and 15 before the podcast. I barely wound down. I went into my shop, lasered 2 things real quick, put some lacquer on something, and then I'm like, yeah, I'm finished, you know. Today's, I mean, I apologize for nothing, okay, in the great words of Conor McGregor, but in not so colorful language. But I can tell you this right here is just an example of what life is like as a part-time maker that has a full-time job, and in our case,
it's the reality. I mean, absolutely is.
Yeah, dude.
I mean, like family.
Yeah, normally we're bubbly, we're cool, we're having a good time. You know, today's just one of the days we're tired, man.
We're tired, man.
Like, this is what real looks like. You know, some days we can put a face on. I ain't gonna lie to you, I ain't putting shit on today. I am beat, and that's just the reality.
We'll toss it over there to the Patreons, but we might release this as is without much editing. Just because I kind of like the tone of this episode, just because like, you know, it's not that we're bubbly or we put on a face, but we really like being on here. We love talking to our Patreons and the people that reach out to us. You know, I love Instagram and everyone that's on there that follows me and I follow them. Like, I've made a lot of great connections. I truly believe that it can be used as a tool for good and bad if used incorrectly. But you know, this is the reality, you know. Yeah, I'm exhausted. I'm doing everything I can to pick up pace and learn. I have a huge inspection in November, and we already know that we're not prepared for. So I need to learn as much as I can to help my shop get there. And I don't even know if I can call it a shop now, but and it's simple things, you know, that I just got to pick it up, and I got to pick it up fast. And then, you know, Tuesdays, actually, when you texted me, I was at my son's soccer game. He picked up soccer since he's been here.
Oh, okay.
And I've made it a rule where I'm trying to stay off my phone as much as possible, especially at work and events and stuff like that. Home, when the kids ain't around, I still once in a while scroll TikTok when they're around, but again, that limits my reaction or my interactions with other people on social media or answering back texts and stuff like that. So I got to find that balance again. Everything that I established in New Jersey is different here. So I'm relearning the whole curve and like how it's going to work here for me. I've done some testing and different things for noise abatement inside the house and in the shop and stuff like that. But Nap knows, and anyone out there, when you're learning a new job and whatnot, that's your primary thing. You're there to, get up to speed so you can start working, that way no one's, you're not holding anyone back or the shop back.
Dude, this job I'm in now, I have to learn how to load. Okay, this is open source, so you guys look this up anywhere. If you look up Mine on Air Force Base, you'll figure out what their prime mission is. Okay, Global Strike Power. And part of that Global Strike Power is, our nuke mission. So we have to learn to do that. I learned how to load all these things. Monday was my first load ever.
Did you guys lose a plane?
Ever, and we didn't lose a plane. We won't talk about that.
It's the Marines. We can talk about all we want.
No, we cannot. Let's just not and say we did. But no, we didn't lose a plane. But I loaded for the first time. It was like a 4.5 hour time standard. I did it in just under 4. And I failed. Okay. Because there's just things, obviously no experience with what I was doing. So the fact that the only reason why I failed was because of my lack of experience and having confidence in certain areas was actually pretty good. The policy and technical data, I think I only got 2 oversteps, meaning I checked too many steps that I was supposed to out of the 3 I'm allowed. And then I loaded like 3 or 4 days later. And the only reason why I failed, which is called a training load, because I'm not certified yet, was because I didn't put flippin' iPro on when I looked up to work above my head. So to say the least,
citation.
Right. Shut up. To say that's what I'm failing for, I'd say I'm doing pretty good. I'm learning very fast. Luckily, I'm able to dust the rust off of my old loading habits. It's really not that bad once you learn your aircraft, which is what I've been doing. It's not terrible. But that's what my job is now. So I load munitions. I learn the trends of where people fail the most. I then evaluate my subordinate crews, and then they evaluate the folks that are out on the flight line loading on a daily basis. So that's what my job is now, and I thoroughly enjoy it. I asked for this job. I'm a little more tired because of it, but it's all good. So to be fair, no. I would personally go with black Menards has been pretty good. But if you get black PVC, that works pretty good. I mean, whatever one's cheaper, honestly. So I go 4-inch white or black PVC. I have white PVC tubing, which is cheaper than the black. But then the fittings, the white or the black fittings, the angles like 90 degree, 45, the splits, those are cheaper. I don't know.
You could paint the white to match the black.
I don't care about that. Functionality, sir.
Or you could paint the white yellow.
ABS,
and it could be black and yellow.
You're right, I could. But yeah, honestly, if you're going to build... See, this is why I haven't built a full system yet, because it's just too damn expensive to outfit an entire garage with a HVAC system or a dust collection system. No, don't do metal. And the reason why you don't want to do metal is because the dust collection, the CFMs create static, and that static will then charge on that metal, and you will zap the shit out of yourself or stuff out of yourself. Same thing will happen with PVC, but the thing with PVC is that you can ground that with a copper wire, which then will prevent your CNC or anything attached to it from shorting out, because ESD is a real thing.
Absolutely.
When it comes to dust collection. So be very careful and mindful of that.
We can start talking about hazard energy and how that could be affected in the shop as well. You could do grounding bars.
Okay, listen here, safety guy.
Hey,
I need you to calm down.
I got to use this knowledge somewhere. I can't daisy chain anything
your
anymore.
Your new job would be really cool to integrate into your shop life for next episode. You should talk about those things, because I'm sure your eyes have been open to things that you never did, and you're like, "Ooh."
It's kind of a pain, man. We went to the bowling center, and I'm inspecting the building without knowing it. I'm looking all around, and the wife's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "They're missing a tile. This is wrong. This is wrong." So, yeah,
Can't you ground the metal? You could ground metal, Jason, but I would tell you right now, grounding metal is more of a pain in the rear than grounding your PVC.
Yeah, it's going to create more static than the PVC will. So I shy against that. I mean, we're just not saying you can't. Go ahead if you want to, but you got to imagine combustible dust in your shop is a real thing. You have fine particulates that are essentially floating around that you can't even see.
You're making a 4-inch pipe bomb in your garage.
Yeah. So, I mean, depending on, how much you do, your dust collection and whatnot, it could turn out bad. I don't want to get down this road. That's the whole episode by itself, but,
no,
you could also, I mean,
I have not.
I didn't do it the way I wanted to here for dust collection. I still use the hoses and whatnot. It's not hard piped; it's soft piped, if you will. Yeah,
Victor, this is the hose I use for dust extraction. Depending on how much you need, and Jason, if you need any, I'll just cut this in half and send a section to both of you because this stuff stretches out pretty good.
Is that like dryer hose?
And I was actually gonna, pretty much. Yeah. And I was going to throw this out too, so if you guys really want it, I'll send it to you.
But I've used the Rockler hose for dust collection and stuff like that, and I just bought something that's very similar, has some anti-static features to it. And just because I wasn't going that far, I wasn't too concerned with it, in the way I have it set up. But I don't think I'll be hard piping anything until I have my own house and we're settled down.
Forever home.
Yeah, it's just. I did the math and the money, and for you guys that, you're not going to be moving, it makes sense. I would honestly do it little by little. And then when you get it done, you get it done. But if you got to do it right, especially when you hard pipe entire shop like that, you don't want to go too far. You don't want to be using too many fittings. You want it as straight as possible. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot that goes into it. And you got to remember, if you get a clog somewhere, you need to get to it. So,
yep,
there's a lot that goes into it that people forget. I'm not saying that you guys will in the chat. I'm saying for those listening, you'd be surprised how often hoses want to clog and you don't even know it. And then
so many
who was it? I think Matt. Was it Matt? It was someone that we talked to, fairly regularly, and they had a clog. They didn't know it until it broke up and basically hit their dust collection, and they heard a loud bang because it was just a lot louder than that. But
he's like, huh?
Yeah, I think it blew the bag off too because so much went from minimum to maximum. But
yeah,
I don't know. Talking about safety and talking about all this, just be safe out there, guys. People losing their fingers, getting hurt and whatnot. Be safe. It's not worth it. Sometimes it takes longer to be safe, and it's not comfortable. It's worth it in the long run.
Yeah, the 3D printed connectors, Richter, that's great. Like if you did a mag lock system type deal, that's cool. But I just definitely wouldn't. I wouldn't use straight pipe for it.
Mag lock systems
to be vented out
work really well.
Oh yeah, of course they do.
But they do not seal as good as a solid, connection pipe. So it's really on your shop setup. If you think about it and it makes sense for you, do it. Thank you guys for the chat, by the way. I'm really glad we opened that up.
Yeah.
But it's almost hitting about an hour. You got anything else you want to chat about tonight?
Honestly, no. Other than if you use Facebook and you happen to be in the Onefinity chats and things, just be sure to stay classy, okay? Because there's been a lot going around with the forums and people censoring people because they're trying to get a leg up on sponsors and things like that. So just stay classy, be professional in those chats. Don't succumb to the trolls. That's about all I can say about that. But other than that, no, I'm honestly done, man. I'm so damn tired. I'm ready to go mimes. Or as the wife, it's the sleep. His wife calls sleeping as mimes. But I got to wake up again at 4 a.m. and go to the gym. So That's Halloween project you all are working on. So that, my good sir, that will be saved for next episode because I'm actually making stuff for Halloween this year. I'm not making the lanterns that everyone and their freaking mother makes. I'll probably make something different. I might make a coffin or something, just to scare the crap out of some kids. I don't know. We'll see.
What's that?
Feeling cute later. Might lay in might make a coffin. Might lay in it later. Scare some kids. I don't know.
Ooh.
Mazda controller costs around $2K.
Yeah, $2K is what we're looking at for that. Honestly, yeah, because I know what he's thinking. My CDC works fine. It does what I need.
Your CDC? You mean your CNC?
This is how tired I am, okay? My CNC works just fine. It does what I need. It's like a mantra.
Yeah, where's Jason finding Mazda controller?
Yeah, where are you finding 1200?
You know what?
Is it a Facebook Marketplace? Because if it's Facebook Marketplace, it might not be real.
Mazda controller price. Well, actually, Mazda CNC controller, $1,100 to...
They go down?
What? Hold on right now.
Did they go down because of Winfinity?
No, definitely not. Mazda G3 Touch CNC plasma controller. Well, that's a plasma controller, but it's the same controller.
Yeah.
For CNC, it's $1,700.
Okay, around $2K, give or take.
Well, actually, this one right here says it's $1,100 to $1,200. What the hell's the difference? It might be, you know what? That's because that Mazda G3 is just the processor. The G3 Touch, that is your processor with your touch screen.
Okay.
Yes, that is exactly that. Victor just mentioned in the chat there. So you could easily do a Mazda G3, the components, 3D print your own case and all that stuff, but by the time you do all that, you're going to be totaling out to what it is now. I would definitely just go straight for the Touch Pro edition just because you're saving time. On Mazda page, it's $1,300 to $1,400 with Touch. Yeah, you're going to have to send that link to me, dude, because I might just buy mine before people realize it and that price goes up.
Still pretty penny.
You
know what I'm saying?
I'm trying to get an ATC.
I know you. Yeah. I dream about it.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, but your CNC can handle it. Mine can't. Mine will just be like, dead.
Okay, I'm sorry. But all right, let's close this thing out, man. I'm ready to go to bed. No offense to y'all. I'm done. I'm cooked. And to make it short and sweet, love y'all. Keep up in the community. I'll be back in full force eventually. Just not right now because I'm busy. Super busy. But I'll see you next Tuesday.
Thank you, everyone out there listening, for sharing 169 episodes with us. This last episode here has been it was interesting. We got to hit on a lot of different things. And the most important thing is stay motivated, get in that shop and do something. I'm talking to myself too. And go make some sawdust. With that, Sawdust Nation podcast out.
Okay, bye. I go Mimi's. I go.
You call them Mimi's?
That's what my wife calls it. Oh. And we call it Zane. So
yeah.
it's kind of just been something that's stuck. Yeah.